Hey guys, DEK here with DEK Review Show and DEK Star Wars. And we're going to go ahead and do a spoiler discussion of The Mandalorian, Chapter 13, The Jedi. Spoiler alert, if you're going to watch this video. This is fucking amazing. This is a great video. Okay, so this show, oh man, this show. First off, this show, after you don't count the end credits or the little recap at the beginning, is about 40 minutes. So it's back up there at that longer screening time. And we all guessed it. Alright, so this episode is, in fact, directed by Dave Filoni himself. And as you know, Dave Filoni is a big part of like the Clone Wars and Ahsoka Tano. We all knew Rosario Dawson was going to be Ahsoka Tano. And now this is the episode that we see Ahsoka Tano. Alright, so huge amounts of spoilers, huge amounts of story. We're getting it all right now. Okay, so first off, we start at this like little war that's going on, right? So all these Imperial soldiers is in this village. And they've kind of captured the villagers, and they're kind of like slaves now. They're doing what the Empire tells them, or the remnants of the Empire. And some of them are locked up in cages that are getting electrocuted and stuff like that as punishment. And there's this big bad lady and this other soldier dude, and they're kind of holding this village as their own. And this planet, it was a forest and it's dead. All of the trees are dead, except in the village, in this Empire lady's house. She has a garden that still has like lush green forestry. Now, this starts with soldiers running around a battlefield of dead trees and dying. And all you see is these glimpses of white lights, these dual white lights. Appear, someone's dead, disappear. Appear, someone's dead, disappear. Over and over again. And this is Ahsoka Tano with her dual white lightsabers. Alright, so she ends up killing all these people. And she goes to the front of the gate. And she tells the lady, she's like, I want the information. Where is your boss? And she's like, I'm not going to tell you. And Ahsoka's like, well, you're telling me. And she's like, well, how many villagers do I need to kill? 1? 10? 100? She's like, I will kill them all. They mean nothing to me. But how much do they mean to you? So Ahsoka Tano is like, well, you have a day to think about it. And she leaves. Now, this is where Din Djarin comes in. So Din Djarin is flying in a ship, and he lands on the planet. And, you know, he's on the search for Ahsoka Tano. He was sent there by Bo-Katan. And he ends up at this village. And they ask him, like, it's like, you there, state your business. He's like, I'm on the hunt. I'm stopping through here. And they say, are you a hunter? He says, yes. They said, are you with the guild? He says, last I checked. So they let him in. He tries to talk to some of the villagers, and they just walk away. He stops to this one guy with the 2 kids, and the guy sends the kids off, and then the guy says, please don't talk to the kids. Please don't talk to anybody here. Right then he's stopped by 2 guards, and they're sent over to they're like, all right, well, you know, the lady would like to speak to you. So they send Din Djarin in to have a meeting with her. And Din Djarin is meeting up with her, and she says, you're a bounty hunter, you're a Mandalorian. I need a job. He says, I'm pricey, not cheap. Well, she needs a Jedi hunted. The same Jedi that he's here to look for. So he said, as I said, I'm not cheap. She has a pure Beskar spear that she offers for him to kill the Jedi. So he says, where can I find this Jedi? And he's off. So they're walking in the woods. Of course, like before this, like the child is trying to get the knob, and then he finally got the knob, and Din's like, no, don't take this from the ship. And then he puts it in his pocket, and they walk, and then that's before they went to the town. Well, now they're walking in this dead forest woods, and he thinks he has the coordinates, right? So he places the child, Baby Yoda, on a rock and said, hold on. And he looks with his telescope, and he sees just an animal, and he's like, oh, it's a false alarm, until he hears pop up in the background. He turns around and blocks 2 lightsaber smacks with his Beskar armor, because lightsabers don't go through Beskar. Possibly unless if it is a Pearl lightsaber, which the Pearl we've seen in the episode with Cobb Vanth. But that's a different thing. It's kind of a Legends thing at the moment. But so the lightsaber doesn't go through Beskar. Alright? So he's blocking the lightsabers. And then he uses the flame matter. She goes for attack. He ties her up. She jumps over a branch and hangs him. He disconnects and he screams, Ahsoka Tano, Bo-Katan sent me. So they stop and they talk, and she sees the child and says, well, I hope that's the reason you're coming to find me. So they have a little meditation, Ahsoka and the child, while the Mandalorian is waiting back in the back of the woods, waiting for them to get done. And they come back, and she's like, well, what do you need? He's like, I need him to be trained. So I was like, okay, well, we'll test him in the morning. Ahsoka Tano, after meditating with the child, says, we'll test Grogu in the morning. And Din Djarin's like, Grogu? And she said, yes, that is what the child's real name is. His name is Grogu, and he was trained in the Jedi Temple on Coruscant before the Clone Wars. However, he was taken from the temple around the Clone Wars, probably Order 66, and everything else after that is black. They don't know who took him. And she says the only person that she knows that has that kind of, I guess, features is the Master Yoda, the Grand Master Yoda. And so they go and they test him. Ahsoka picks up a rock, sends the rock to him, and tells him to send it back. And Grogu goes ahead and drops the rock on the ground. He's not doing it. So she says, well, we're going to see a different thing. We're going to test to see if he'll listen to you. And Din Djarin's like, the kid's stubborn. He's not going to listen to me. She's like, well, we'll try. So he does it. The kid doesn't listen. He's like, see, kid's stubborn. He's not going to do it. And then Ahsoka's like, well, try to connect. So he knows he has that the knob in his pocket from earlier. So he says, do you want this? You can have it. Take it. So immediately Grogu goes and takes the knob with the Force pull. And yeah, she says, I sense a lot of fear in him. And he has too high of a bond with the Mandalorian. I cannot train him. The Mandalorian says, no, my job was to bring him to the Jedi to be trained. And she's like, well, I can't train him. So he stops her and says, I was ordered to kill you by the lady at the village for like the Beskar spear. And if you want help with the issue, because I seen what is in the village, you're going to need to train him. And kind of like does a blackmail. So they agree. They won't see a Jedi and Mandalorian working together. So when they end up coming in here, Ahsoka Tano comes in, walks in the gates after killing the people above the gate. They're all standing there. She throws a Beskar plate that has the Mandalorian on it in front of the lady and says, "Your Mandalorian failed." And the girl runs off in the back and tells them, kill the people, execute the villagers that are trapped in the cages, and then execute every villager door to door. So they go in and they do that, right? Well, Ahsoka runs off and tries to start killing people. Then comes this one villager, runs up to try to save the people before these guards execute. But here comes flying in Din Djarin, kicking ass, killing these people, has the gun up to the villager, nods at him, puts the gun away, and then helps him take down the villagers. So he helps them escape, and then he starts fighting these people. Well, it comes down to, after this, she jumps the wall to get to the girl, while Din Djarin is standing there next to, I guess, the lady's first captain or whatever, is standing in there, and they're doing like a actual Western duel. He has a shotgun in his hands, basically a shotgun in his hands. Din Djarin has his hand above the blaster. They're staring off. Now, the only thing about this episode is when he comes in to the town, you can kind of, it looks like he has the child with him, because you see a little bit of green sticking out of the bag. However, in the town, there's not that. So I don't know if they had it in there when he first entered the town, like when he flew down to kick people, or that could just be something else. I don't know. Or it was taken after the fact. But it looked like he had the child in his bag when he drop kicked those guys with his jetpack. Now, so they're talking, they're doing this Western style duel, while in the back, in that little garden area, Ahsoka Tano is using her 2 white lightsabers against this lady who's using a Beskar spear. And he's like, well, who do you think's gonna win? I would risk my life for the right side. This isn't it. And then he sets the shotgun down. So Din Djarin loosens his grip. The guy reaches in his back pocket and Din Djarin takes him out. Another villager runs out and is like, oh, you did it. And then he's like, behind you. And fucking Din just turns around and blasts a droid in the back, in his head, just instantly taking him out. While the girl is fighting Ahsoka, pretty evenly matched, actually. They're trading blows back and forth. Now, Ahsoka lost one of her lightsabers in the water, and then, but she was able to take away the spear from the lady, and she has a lightsaber up to the lady's neck, and she says, big spoiler, where is your boss? Where is Thrawn? And if you don't know, if you watch Rebels, Thrawn is an Imperial, pretty much a really big Imperial deal. He's the guy with the blue skin, and he was last seen at the end of Rebels, spoiler alert for Rebels, with Ezra Bridger, disappeared going they don't know where in the Outer Rim, in this like light speed. So that was the last time we've seen Ezra or Thrawn. Now they mentioned Thrawn, so it sounds like they know where Thrawn is, or Thrawn is back making moves. So what's that mean? That means Ezra is back somewhere. So, and if Ezra is back, Rahu Kohli might be Ezra, as we knew before. Like, why wouldn't he be? That would be amazing. So, we could see Ezra Bridger, maybe not in Mandalorian, but possibly in an Ahsoka Disney Plus series, searching for Thrawn and Ezra. That would be amazing. It was rumored to be part of the Filoni verse of all these shows kickstarted by The Mandalorian on Disney Plus by Dave Filoni. So that would be great. There's rumored to be the Ahsoka show. There's rumored to be like a Bo-Katan thing, a Boba Fett one. So many things. We already know we're getting Kenobi. So that would be amazing. And the Mandalorian says, all right, well, I'll go get the kid. He's on a ship. So he goes back. He wakes the kid up. The kid's sleeping. And he tells Grogu, you gotta wake up. This is goodbye. Well, Ahsoka walks up to the ship and says, you're like a father to him. And I cannot train him. And Din's like, no, we had a deal. You promised. And she's like, I cannot train him. However, go to this planet at this Jedi temple strong with the Force and let Grogu decide. He'll reach out with the Force and a Jedi might come looking for him. However, there's not that many Jedi left. So basically, don't hold your breath. But let Grogu decide. So that's a really interesting thing. And this is probably the end of Ahsoka in The Mandalorian right now. She might return for like the last episode. I don't know, really good episode. I have to say, I have to give this episode right back up there at a 10 out of 10. I have to. Like, I have to. I possibly should have gave the last one a 10 out of 10. No series has been able to get 10 out of 10s for almost every single episode. 13 strong now. It's either a 9 out of 10 or a 10 out of 10. I don't remember if I ever gave an episode less. Unless it was like the 20-minute one in like season 1. But I will say one more thing. I just want to show. I did get this dude over at my store. It was the last one they had. It was $10, but it was 50% off. But I had to get it. It is the Child, the Black Series figure. And so I had a case come in of Black Series figures. And it's a little bit weird. So they come at like 12 in a case. However, they came with 4 of the Celebration Luke Skywalkers with the medal, which my store has like 1,000 of those fucking things. And then it came with 4 of the Black Lady, the female Finn from Rise of Skywalker. But then in it, there's one wedge. There was 1 Sith Trooper, 1 Snow Trooper, and one of these I had to pick up, which is Cara Dune. After last episode of The Mandalorian, I had to pick it up. I just had to. Like, I had no choice. That last episode was amazing. She has become one of my favorite characters of all. She's just an amazing character. Amazing actor, amazing fighter. It's really cool. I'm glad that The Mandalorian came out, so I've seen who this actor is, or who this fighter is, and how this could be one of my favorite characters. I think if it was made by somebody else, like if another actress did it, I don't think it would have been as convincing, and I don't think that she could have pulled it off as well as this lady. She just made Cara Dune perfectly. She should have been Wonder Woman with DC, but what are you gonna do? Alright, well, that's all I have. I hope you guys enjoyed. I will see you all later. May the Force be with you, always. Let me know what you thought of the episode down below. See ya.